Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are. Okay, just getting everything set up. There we go. I've been busy most of the day, actually, so I didn't actually set a reminder for anybody, did I? So that is my bad. Oh well. How you doing there, Blazer? It's good to have you, my man. Good to see you once more. Okay, so we'll definitely get the turn finished tonight, that's without doubt. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the track in a few minutes. But for the most part, things are already decided, which is very good. Very, very good. Okay, ignore the rather cluttered desktop. I'll never really fix it. I'll like try. I'll like do little improvements, but I'm never going to get into like the meat of it, am I? Oh dear. See, I should really be making use of the actual intelligence reports that do come here. Put them in the tracker. It's not too difficult to do, I'm just being bow-eyed on that one. Okay, remove 199, here we go. Edit the tracker here. I mean, after thinking over things last night, I'd still say it was a very positive turn. Ah, thank you very much, AJ3. Really appreciate my dude. Have a good one, my dude. Thank you very much, I appreciate it as ever there, Jay. So, Battling Geezer, how you doing there, my friend? Good to have you both on board. Okay, we'll wait for this to load here. Yeah, I'd still say it was a, overtly positive turn. Casualties are something I can recover from. As mad as it sounds, yeah, unless he drives me off, unless it destroys the actual formation, it can recover. How you doing there, Doomsday? Good to have you, my dude. Okay, let's take a look at the current turn here. Okay, so obviously Deval, Lo Yang, they're complaining about lack of supply there. That's not entirely surprising. Now, I do have that force there at Deval. I was considering having them move over to Cagayan, but I'd rather have the 4th Division do that. They'll get it done and we'll get it done quickly. So I'm going to have them use potentially over at Celebus. And potentially one of the islands nearby. Wouldn't be a bad idea to try and establish a forward airbase for ourselves, really, in the near future. Now, Shanghai is obviously upgraded here to level 9, which is superb. We can do far, far more with that. So capture 2 bases over here, but obviously these just being dot bases. Time to bomb Fiji and New Zealand. I considered it, but I've rescinded that decision. We will be heading for Australia. Okay, Mutsureoba. Okay. I'll go over the details as to why I've done that again in the next couple minutes, actually. Okay. So there, Roach, how you doing there, my dude? I got access to my Steel Division 2 copy at last, so we're good to go, mate. But looking forward to actually playing the game. I am looking forward to that. I think I don't know. I still like the Hungarians. I might try to make a German or maybe a Soviet division, but I just really do like the Hungarians. It'd be interesting if they added more like miners. That'd be intriguing. You could bomb Darwin. See, we'll be heading towards Darwin in the near future. Kinda. I mean, when it comes to like the area around there, north end of Australia, it's a difficult situation because I don't know anything about that area. Yeah, sure, I definitely will do. I'm going to have to get back into the game and get used to it again. Okay, let's take a look over here. So I do have an excess of naval points over here, then vehicle. Yes. Now I'm up to 10,000 armament points again, actually. I think what I might do here then is shut down the armament production. At least that might be able to make up for the shortfall that we did have in heavy industry from a few turns ago, due to the lack of resources. Obviously that was due to my incompetence there. But we've since figured out and found out why that was and how to actually fix the situation, so all's good. Okay, chart's still looking good, we are still seeing our surplus of points over here, which is obviously what we like. Yeah, we can tell when the resource system has got all out of whack when we saw this go up to a really large surplus because it wasn't actually being used properly. It wasn't where it needed to be. Refineries and fuel. Obviously still something that we need to sort out. We'll be setting up the we'll be setting up the oil convoys in the near future, actually. That's going to be a fun one. Okay, let's take a look at the chart. Right, there we go. It's going to turn off the Steam notifications here. There we go. Okay, so you can see here yellow. Oh, it's doing that again, isn't it? Where, that's cool. I forgot about that. Okay, how do we get that off again? Is it... There we go. Yeah, that's rather intriguing. So when I put game capture on, it actually does that sometimes. I forgot about that. Yeah, so we can see here that resources has been increasing actually, which is quite nice. Fuel obviously going down just ever so slightly. I say slightly. It is quite a decrease, but then again we have been drawing a lot of fuel from Japan in the past there. It's an interesting game. I think I do prefer War Game Red Dragon. But I don't know, I'm willing to give it a shot, really. I think I just like playing the Hungarians, to be fair. I like that sort of, like, infantry gameplay style. Okay. Now, oil and resources. Let's take a look over here, then. So, Japan. Okay, so we are on a downtick here. Not by terribly large amounts, though. So we seem to be hovering around about 4.6 million tons of resources here, which is understandable. There's no issue on that one. We can keep that going. How you doing there, Sal? Good to have you, my friend. Okay, moving on to the air production. So as we can see here, then the KI-43 1C model has finally surpassed 102 models per month here. Yeah, the tracker is definitely worthwhile. It really is worthwhile. It's like, it almost seems trivial in a way, because when you have access to all this information, it does make things far, far easier. You don't always need to use it. You could use it to a significantly greater degree than I'm using it. Like, you could be looking at intelligence, you could be looking at far more. But I'm just using... To be honest... I don't know whether I'm anal or anti-anal here at the moment. So it's like, I'll take a lot of time to do some things and then others I'll not spend too much time on. Indeed. How you doing, Ben Optimistic? How you doing, Ben, my friend? Yeah, K84s. See, what I need to do here, then, let's go ahead and take a look there. So, R&D. Right. Now, I need the D4Y1 duties so goddamn bad. Absolutely. Yeah, the A6M30. Now they show me this date of availability, but I think that could be reduced. I'm not entirely sure if this is the absolute date or predicted date, or whether it automatically updates. Like, so it's showing me here the next group is arriving 31st of May. We'll sort by availability here. So we'll have the A6M30, and then the KI-44 Tojo. But I need these duties, absolutely. The reason why we need them is, I'm going to show you guys, they are just incredible aircraft. So take a look at the Imperial Japanese Navy. Take a look at the, I think it'll be classed as a fighter bomber. Yep, here we go. Okay, so what I want to show you then is the D3A2. Well, we have the... Is it the D3A1? Yeah, we have the D3A1 valves at the moment. So bear in mind, this is what we're using on board the Kidabutai at the moment. Now, this is the Judy. Just look at the difference in speed, cruise speed. Endurance obviously isn't as great, but the range here is actually slightly better. Normal, actually, no, it's about the same. Normal range, extended range, yeah, there we go. Altitude's higher, climb rate's higher. Maneuverability is lower, but the durability is slightly lower as well. Both are unarmored. You have a higher load. Service rating is higher. But you do carry here a larger bomb. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the Japanese aircraft don't have armor. It's only until really later on that we get that. But this is superb. Now, there is another variant here. But it's not being listed here at the moment. Now, I think that may be due to the fact that it might be considered a torpedo bomber. I'm not seeing it here. I think there is a version. I wonder if it belongs to the army. No, it must be just this other version isn't listed here on the tracker. That's fine. Yeah, but we'll take a look at our actual aircraft that we'll be receiving then in the short term. It is the... let's see. So we have the D4 Y1C Judy. Oh, reconnaissance, that's why. Okay, so we have the dive bomber and reconnaissance. So I was thinking it was a torpedo bomber. But I was thinking of the B6N1 Jill, wasn't I? That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, and then we have the K67. This is a torpedo. Yeah, these are the guys I'm looking for as well. Yeah, so we'll take a look then. So the D4 Y1C is honestly, that's great aircraft. Okay, Navy, reconnaissance. Yep, here we go. Now that is a pretty impressive range there. Very nice. The interesting thing is she's actually CV capable. And that's going to be really rather intriguing. I'd love to see how we could potentially make use of them. And they don't arrive too late either, so if I could actually get a decent number of those bad boys out there, it could be rather intriguing. I'd imagine I'd probably have them based on ground airfields, really. But it would be intriguing. I mean, they are very quick. I mean, that speed's really good. Indeed, it's a nice looking plane. Now, for actual level bombers, let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this is what I'm looking towards, actually. Yeah, this can carry the torpedoes. Let's double check. But I do believe that we are moving towards the KI-67s in the future. Yep, so I have the KI-67 1A over here. Yeah, if we go over here. The reason why I'd like that aircraft is the fact that obviously you can have it armed with the bombs as normal, but she has the capability to use torpedoes, and that's very, very nice. She's fairly well armed. She does arrive rather late on. Ideally, we could try and have her arrive a little bit sooner. But that range is very nice. I mean, 14 and 17 ain't bad. Being able to use the torpedo is just going to be great. The reason why we like this so much is the fact that we have a Imperial Japanese Army level bomber that is able to use a torpedo. That means that we'll have far more torpedo capability out there, which is going to be very handy. Okay. Now, we are going to be stopping the expansion of the A620 when it reaches 100 airframes per month, so we are dealing that point there. The good news is that's going to obviously save us quite a lot of supply there. Biggest bomb you can drop. I tell you, that's actually a good question, isn't it? That is a good question. I suppose we could go to the level bombers over here then. Let's see. I don't think we get very large bombs. I think it very much may be just 250 kilograms. I'm not entirely sure. Well, I think we've got... It might be the dive bombers I'd be better off looking at. We'll look at the Navy. Right, so that's an 800 kilogram bomb. Yeah, 500. 800 there. Yeah, it looks as if it is potentially the 800 kilogram bombs. Yeah, something of that nature. Okay, let's take a look at the map here. Looking at search arcs. Okay. So as you can see the mini Kitabutai over here. Now, you can see that there's a fair amount of naval search around here. That's obviously due to the actual naval bombers that were on search. They were obviously on naval attack looking for targets. You can see the actual Kitabutai over here. Can you see it in the devices tab, maybe? More than likely. We can take a look. So... ground. Oh, it's a general purpose bomb and armor piercing bomb. Okay. Can I... oops. Can I assault by Japan? Yep, there we go. Yeah, so the 800 kilogram bomb is indeed the largest. Yep. The guns of the Yamato. I'd love to find out whether this 41cm howitzer is. That sounds like really quite nice. Okay. See, what I'm going to be doing here. And as you can see that we do have the H6Ks over here. Is that AA or anti-armor? Anti-armor that I was looking by. Over H6K4s over here. I mean, you can see that they do overlap. See, what I'm going to be doing here, then, is I'm going to be setting up a air headquarters at Rabal. One at Rabal. I was considering having one established over here at Tulagi. It wouldn't be a bad idea. Like, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. I just think it's one of those where I could potentially get away with not having one. Like, for example, go away there. PC game, I don't need you to pop up. I don't know what it is about Windows 10, but it just seems to like throw pop-ups at you every now and then. Yeah, okay. So what I'm looking for here then, let's bring up the drawing tool. Okay, so I'm going to be establishing a air flotilla headquarters here. I've already got one down here at Luganville. Now we have one up over here at Truck. Just pretend that says Truck and it isn't like autistically written. There we go. Now, we do have one over here at Kawa. So in effect, you imagine it's something like this. Kinda. Now, I was considering adding one over here. It could be potentially an idea to have one at Tarawa, but I don't think Tarawa would be really a good idea. Maybe. It's not the worst idea. But if you notice here then, so Luganville obviously has some islands in and around it to support it. Rabal's well supported, Truck's obviously well supported, KYJ supported there by the Marshals. Tarawa. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I think it's one of those where obviously that area can be reached by the headquarters of KYJ really. Obviously with the actual aircraft base first. I don't think it's needed. I mean, what we're going to be doing in the near future here is once... oh, wow, okay, that's a bit large. Yeah, once we're actually done over here at Raban, which isn't going to take too long, that should fall next turn, is going to land our forces more... I'm more than likely going to land my forces at Buna, and then march over. I may see how it looks on the ground, actually. Because if I had the Kitabutai to obviously escort them. But the thing is, if I'm moving them via ship, there's a lot more things that can go wrong. But obviously, if I'm moving them by ship to this point here at Buna, and then they cross over and march on Port Moresby, it's one of those where at least the men are ashore. But I don't know. We might take a look at it. I might go ahead and try to land them there by naval. It is the fastest method. It's going to be one of those where we have to really take a look at the lay of the ground, really. Okay. Right, what I want to do here then is take a look at R&D. Need to increase the amount of supply required here. We'll be heading towards Darwin in the near future, though the thing about Darwin is, I don't think it's really... I think he's sending fuel down to Perth. That's what I think he's heading. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, we'd obviously take disruption, we'd have some fatigue there. But the thing is, at least they're there. I don't need to worry about that then. They'll march, it'll take them some time, but when they do arrive, they take the base. It would make things significantly more simple, as at least then all I have to do is... I mean, I'd be able to use the Kiriputai to their advantage, you know what I mean? Rather than having to babysit, say, convoy. They can be used to their best advantage, really. If you land them directly, you need good support. Yeah, we'd have to have a Kiriputai over them just to make sure. And that puts the Kiriputai in a dangerous position. Puts everybody in a dangerous position then. Okay, so I'm going to increase the amount of supply here. And Mabashi is going to have it upped as well. Yeah, Perth definitely seems like the location for his fuel. What I'm going to be doing is actually taking submarines that are returning from the US coastline. They're going to be heading down that way. And I think that'd be quite good. They're very long-range submarines. Ideally, sending ones with float planes would be quite a nice idea. Okay, so everybody else is actually there with sufficient supply now, which is good news. So I just need to get Mabashi. Mabashi definitely needs a lot more supply. So I think I might even up that a little bit further to 6,000, make sure to get that supply. Ah, thank you very much there for the follow, my dude. Really appreciate it. Right, okay. So that's going to sort that situation out there. Now, if I take a look, we'll quickly go back to the tracker here. Industry. What I'm going to look at here then is, right, so global. So as you can see, we'll bring up the chart, just make this a little bit easier to see. When it does pop up, that is. Okay. So turn off everything bar and armament. Okay, so you can see this is obviously where we started, then at 20,000 points of armament. You can see that we turned off armament production, and then I must have turned it on, or potentially must have... I don't know, this must have been the high point of where we're stockpiling. I think I was producing up to this point here, but you could see it was natural usage. And then, looks where... Yeah, this looks to be the point at which I stopped producing, you can see that shortfall. Then we did reach this low point over here. And that was on turn 26. And since turn 26, we have been producing armament points once again. I could try to go for the actual levels again, but I think that's fine. I think what I can do here then is actually afford to... Yeah, let's see here. Can we see when it coincides? So 26 is when it turns back on. You can see there's a bit of a dip there. But heavy industry has been increasing, which is quite good. Okay. What I'm going to do then is... excuse me. I've got a little... It's going to sound funny like, but I made some satay. Is it satay? Peanut? Thai Coriolis? I don't know. I forget what the actual name is. And, man. I put some, like, red Thai paste into the actual, like, pan. And, oh, God. Like, if you guys have ever had, like, red chilies, like, up your nose, that sort of, like, aroma, or whatever you want to call it. It's just, oh, it makes me feel like I've got a cold. Okay. So I'm going to turn armament production off here for the time being. Oops. Okay. So if I go back, and we'll take a look at the differences here then. So I'll turn the production back on here for the time being. Oh, we can actually see it down here then. So, actual production. Yeah, there we go. The armament production does cost us, let's see. Yeah, so that's 3,720 points of industry that we should be able to save here, I do believe. Which is good. They'll go back into the pool, which is very handy. It's better that we do bank this. As you can see that we do have 191,200 points for heavy industry. That is always going to come in useful. Always going to come in useful. So we'll see how we get on without the armament production being on. I can obviously like turn it back on, turn it off, turn it back on sort of thing. Okay. I'm trying to think where you could be possibly useful for. You don't do me any good out here, are you? I'd rather have you brought over this way. So let's see, can I have you sent to a party? We could have you, we'll have you head over here to Naha. You should be able to reach it. Yeah, you can reach Naha. So just head to Naha for the time being at Okinawa. And from Okinawa, she can head over to the Philippines. And at the end of the day, we'll use that in the future to help clear up mines over this way. Okay, so we're getting into the swing of things now. So the 4th Division will be loaded up tomorrow. The 4th Division... now, I've got them loaded up in detachments. What I may do is land either at this base or this base. Probably this base here, depending on the situation. There's always that one as well, of course. We do have some options over here, which is quite nice. I could even land directly at Cagayan. Might be worthwhile doing. The reason being I already do have forces here on the ground. So I think I would be able to land without taking any sort of casualties. But then again, it wouldn't be potentially a bad idea to land at these other bases just to secure them. But I think it probably is better. I think we'll go for a land in Cagayan. At least that is a short route there just to the port. And then once that falls... I think that garrison Cagayan is actually the garrison of Mindanao in totality for the most part. There was some forces over here at Zamboanga. I think they're around here somewhere, if they've not starved. I can't imagine they've starved out, they're probably still there somewhere. But yeah, once that falls, then I should have control of the island. Which is good news, because then what I can actually do then is make ready for the invasions down here to Borneo. Okay. And let's take a look there. So, Cagayan is a level 2 port. There's a level 3 port here, actually, which is quite attractive, actually. Level 1 port there. Level 2 port there. Okay, it might be... Let's take a look. What is the actual terrain like here? So it's clear terrain over here as well. Okay. And it's only about 40 miles away. Road's actually pretty good as well here. Might have to move like so. Yeah, it looks like you'd have to march to the north. But that's also clear terrain anyhow, so that's not too bad. So what I might do then, depending on the situation, is I might land over here to Butian, something of that nature. And then at least we're going to be landing on clear terrain. We're landing at level 3 ports, so at least I'll be able to unload pretty quickly there. So that's not too bad. Okay. Your current element of the naval guard there. There is a port over here, that's good to know about. I could land directly there against the base of Tacloban, but I think it's one of these things that I'd rather march there. But what I'll do then is I'll land, do we land there? Let's take a look. There isn't a road network, so that is a shame. Okay, what we're going to do here is amphibious. I do have some additional ships over here. You're not being used. That's very good. I'll take a spare one just in case. Okay. What I'm going to do here then, so... do not unload cargo. I'm going to have them head over to the base over here. They can pick up the other element there, the 81st Naval Guard. And to be honest, I might even have them unload so I can actually offload, yeah, combine them, but I can always combine them over here. But then it would be better to have them combined. They do fire more effectively. I don't know, I don't think it'll make a major difference. I don't think there's too much here to worry about. But we'll get them moving out. That's what we need to do here. Right, you're loading supplies there. See, I have some SLF over here. What? Yeah, they were over here at Mauban, weren't they? Okay. So we'll have you move down to Naga. Yeah, that port is really heavily damaged. Airfield's not too... well, actually, the runway is completely knocked out. You've got a lot of work ahead of you. Okay, we are closing. Right, what I'm going to do here then. I do have good detection over Wenchao. Now, I was discussing the idea of bombarding Wenchao. And I did have Major. He has... now, I was initially considering having the... well, initially at first I wasn't, and then I was, and then I'm not now. I was considering having the battleship bombarded. But Major says, well, if you do that, you're damaging heavy industry and not so much actual troops there. You're damaging everything else, so you'll have to repair it if you want to make use of it. If you don't damage it, at least you'll be able to gain more heavy industry for free. So... it makes a good argument. We are making progress. It seems like incredibly slow progress due to the fact that we're just bombarding here. But we do have 243 guns there. Ah, thank you very much there, Roach. Really appreciate my dude. Indeed for the Emperor. Yeah, so it's taken a very long time. But this is going to be reducing their supply. But what I need to do to actually expedite the fall of Wenchao is to continue the bombing campaign. So what I'm going to do then is actually move the KI-23s? 21, sorry. Move the KI-21s over here to Formosa. And we'll continue with the air campaign against Wenchao. But what I want to do first and foremost then is I do have another KI-43 squadron out here, don't I? Oh, no, not yet. Right, now I remember. Yeah, but over here at Kamran Bay. There we go. 32 of them looking resplendent. Okay. So what I could potentially do then is to make sure that we actually do have a solid escort, is I could potentially have them sent to Formosa. Where I could actually have the KI-43 squadron there, escort the KI-21s. Now... I'd imagine he will have range, so I don't want to be playing against him. I don't want to lose bombers, unnecessarily. I would like to have them sent to the Pacific, but then again, at least this way. They'll be sent to Formosa. From Formosa, they could be sent to the Philippines. From the Philippines, they could send to be sent to Babal Dawab. Babal Dawab, truck, the Marshals, that sort of thing. Okay. So let's see. There is a engineer unit there. I'll have them sent to Cow. Right, 3 of them are damaged on the way over. Yeah, only a slight amount of damage there. Put some fatigue on the airframes, but that's not too bad. What I can do here then is place them on, let's say, about 60% rest here for the time being. Plenty of range there. It's a shame I couldn't move them a little bit closer up. I could potentially have them based out from Shanghai, maybe. What's the range from Shanghai? That's 5. There is 80 aviation support available, actually. So they could be based out from there in the future, actually. That's good to know. Okay. What I'm going to do then is transfer you. I'll have you sent down here to Taihoku. Yeah, you're bang on the money now. They do have a pretty short range there. The question is going to be, where would we use them? I could potentially use them down over this way. The issue with Sumatra, I don't know. I could try to use the Yokosuka 3rd SLF to secure one of these actual bases over here. I think there is a decent garrison of Medan. But then once we did secure the base, I could actually have them based out here at Kuala Lumpur. Via air transport, move back there. But then again, I think that isn't necessary. I could do that with landing barges. I think what I'll do then is I'll have them sent back to Japan for the time being. They can just continue their trade in Japan. Do they not have that range? Right, I'll have you sent over to Pescadores for the time being, man. To be honest, I could have some equipment moved from Pescadores to the mainland. Okay, more nades. Right, additional reconnaissance over here. Though they are undergoing training at the moment. So you can have 3 in your squadron. Okay. What I'll do then is have them run naval search. Fatigue's very low, so they'll be fine. I'll run it at 60-40 just in case. There we go. I do have these fine gentlemen over here. They're obviously running the reconnaissance there. Okay, we'll move these sallies over. Just double check on the actual amount here. Oh yeah, there's plenty of aviation support there. Then consider the fact that the airfield is going to be a 9, sorry, size 9 in a moment. So that's fine by me. I have the Oscar 1Bs there too. Okay. Place you on to rest. What's the size of the airfield here? Level 1, okay. I need to start building fortifications. We'll use them elsewhere. Use them elsewhere. The K-48s, that is. But what I'm going to do with the K-21s then is have them used against Wenchao. So what we'll do then is ground attack. Well, actually, what I need to do, Major did tell me about a good tactic here, actually. I'll fly them. 10,000 feet should be fine, actually. Yeah, he told me that basically, when you hit the airfield, and you hit the airfield supply, you are costing that base supply. So the best way to do this is to knock out the airfield. So once the airfield has been completely knocked out, then you start focusing on the ground forces. And that should see them broken decently quickly, actually. So yeah, airfield attack. 10% rest just in case. Actually, yeah, we'll enforce about, we'll have about 20% rest. So all KO-21-1C Sallies are going to be targeting the airfield over here. It's a nice size airfield, it's a level 3 airfield. The good news is once I do knock out that airfield, there's no worry about him maybe basing fighters there in the future. I don't think he would do, but it's always something to consider. I'll lower that down to 40% just in case. Okay, so that will go ahead. Right. What I'll do then is transfer you to Cow. There we go. Have you combined with your squadron there for 7% time. They're all training. Rebuild that unit. Consider the fact that their training doesn't make any sense to keep them separated. Plenty of engineers here. Have you just finished your repair? I think you have, actually. Oh, you were sent there to refuel. We'll go ahead and take a look at the actual tracker. I've not seen her there. She might have been sent to refuel, to be honest. Her range is actually pretty good for what I need. So what I'm going to do then, is we are going to have her send. So head down here to Bal Duab. We'll make you down there too. There we go. I'm going to begin to build up fortifications here then. You're building the airfield in the moment, okay. Pagan, build on the airfield there if you can. Then again, I think the Kiso is here to take the rest of them. So we'll do that in the near future. Where's the rest of your unit? And you will talk. And Saipan. Hello there, John Cursor. How you doing there, my friend? Let's see. And it's quite spread out, actually. The fact that some of them are on Saipan. Some of them over here in Niwatok. I think with Niwatok, what I need to do here then is just build on the fortifications. So what I'll do then is we'll have you loaded up and sent to Niwatok. Okay, so the load. Doesn't matter how long it takes. See, I had considered, I'd been considering for some time actually, do I build up the airfield here in Niwatok? But if I do that, it is making it even easier for THG. So what I'm going to do here then is, we do have a level 1 airfield, which is fine, that's all we really need. But what I'm going to do is actually build up the fortifications over here. The reason I'm doing that is because this can be a very large port. And obviously that is what he needs. Historically, the USA did take Niwatok and used it quite extensively as a logistical hub. So we need to prevent that. We need to prevent him being able to use that against us. So I'd like to fortify it, have some sort of little garrison there just to make sure that it can be held. I need to make these islands as bloody as possible, really. Okay, Nishima's unloading her supply over here. We'll have her dock. That's good, I'm glad that supply is over here now. Okay, what I'm going to do... So, I could run reconnaissance, but then again, I think it's probably better to keep up with the naval search, isn't it? At the end of the day, that does reveal information in this area. So the Kidbutai, she's going to be heading over this way, and then she'll be heading down to Brisbane the turn after. At least we'll leave him with a little bit of ambiguity here as to which way I'm going to be moving. Because it might be better to head up this way, and then down, and we'll see. I think if we start in an unexpected location, then that's better. But the thing is, I could go, like, this way and head to Sydney. But I think, to be honest, heading this way, hitting Brisbane, at least then I can hit Sydney, and then I could even just head back up north, hit Sydney again, hit Brisbane again, and then hit these northern areas. At least then I'm using less fuel, and I'm achieving more with it. These guys are going to keep up their patrols over here. It's very close. I'll tell you guys what. I'm going to send them down to Auckland. We do have a H6K force that can reveal information over this area. So I think it would make more sense. If I patrol that area, because he's got to have tankers moving down that way. That's what I imagine he's doing. So I'll patrol that area. Ah, how you doing there, Fishhawk? It's making more use of them than patrolling around here. Granted, it is a good idea, so I will leave one submarine on station. I do have additional submarines actually making their way down here. So I think, yeah, actually we'll send all 3, because I do have another 2 headed down this way. Good to have you there, Fishhawk. I do like that name. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and try and interdict the trade there. I'll keep you in this area. So let's see here. Yeah, we'll have those 2 submarines head south. I do have... Right, you're heading there, you're heading back, okay. But I do have other submarines elsewhere. I-17's heading back. They must be further up over here. I definitely have submarines somewhere. Oh dear. Okay, they're going to combine that. Yeah, so we do have a level 1 Port Verabuna. Jungle, jungle, rough, jungle. At least there's a road here, so it's not too bad. It's not all just like marching through this crap over here. Like that, oh, God no. Okay, so they'll obviously benefit from having that supply available. That's good to see. Yeah, but we're gonna get these guys getting out of here. There's a lot of valuable ships here. And the issue is I don't have a port to dock in, so I could maybe have one of them head into Comac. But we need to clear the port of Comac of mines. Like, can I actually find out how many mines are in Comac? Minefields. Okay, so I can't actually see that. We have been getting rid of a few of them though. As you can see, another 21 cleared this turn. It'll take some time, but it'll be done. Okay, now you. You do actually have that float plane, so that's very handy. What I'm going to do is actually send this submarine down here to Norfolk Island. The reason being, I'm going to patrol around that area. Set your home port to truck for the, sorry, to Lucanville for the time being. I'm going to patrol around that area. The reason for that is, well, I'll have the Kiributai, because I did initially want to have the Kiributai moving this way. But if I send a submarine down that way that is equipped with a float plane, at least she'll be in a position to actually potentially reveal any ships in that area without the presence of the Kiributai. So obviously if there's something worthwhile for the Kiributai there, then she can turn back around and hit it. So yeah, we are going to be wanting to invade these islands soon. But what I will do here then is we do have our men now moving on to Noumea. It's going to take a couple days for them to arrive and be fighting. I don't know, it depends. It'll probably be fierce. But I think what I'll do then is I could have a couple options. One of the options could be to just keep up a bombardment of the actual base there. The reason why that one's quite nice is, well, an initial bombardment does reveal how strong the enemy is. But also with the bombardment, it does mean it will use their supply. Now, I don't know how much supply he has at Noumea. I've got to assume he's stockpiled, so we might be here for some time. It depends, really. I don't know if I could starve the base, but I'd be very intrigued to see, what a sort of value he has there. And the interesting thing is, if you have sent forces to reinforce Noumea, such as AA weapons, or really just any, I don't know what he might have sent, but we'll find out in the near future. But if he sent something that was worthwhile, it's a shame because at the end of the day, it's going to be destroyed by our forces and captured. So that could help us elsewhere. I think to take Fiji, I'm going to be looking at using a division, maybe 2 divisions, to make sure the job is done quickly. That one will depend. I'm definitely going to be looking towards bringing a sledgehammer to the fight, rather than just like a little toffee hammer. Yeah, so we'll send that submarine down that way. The convoy is going to head back. You're going to head over there and merge with the convoy. I need to get out of these submarine-infested waters. There's at least 2 of them that I know of. We need to get the hell out of there. The Kiributai has been spotted for the time being, but that will change shortly. Ideally, it will change. we'll try and cause as much damage and havoc as we can down here. And the good news is, at least if I actually hit these industrial centres, I can actually score some VP, which would be quite nice. That we're going to rectify ASAP next turn. Just we can't ever mention that. We don't talk about that. And our score's doing it's increasing at the moment. I need to get that higher. So any additional victory points are going to be required. But if we can try, I mean, this is it. If I can score some major victories in the near future and secure some nice bases, that will give us a nice VP bonus. I mean, New Mayor itself is worth only 30 points to us, but it's worth 300 to the allies. Yeah, you take a look over here. Like, Suva's worth 825, Nardi's worth 75, but obviously we do have Pigo over here, which is 150. There's some nice point value out here. So that's what I'm looking forward to using. And if we get, this is it, we'll score like 1,000 odd victory points in this area, which is going to be very nice. Okay. Our submarines are returning. So that's great. Now, what I'm going to be considering in the near future as well is there will be a point at which the Japanese submarine is really something of an endangered species. So I think what my tactics will be with the Imperial Japanese submarines in the future is I'd like to try and use them as a fleet element. Now what I mean by that is, like, let's say here, let's go ahead and show you guys. So we have the Kiributai. Now what I want to show you guys here to bear in mind is, okay, so note this here. So let's take a look at how distant that is. So that point to the Kiributai is 10 hexes. Okay, so now imagine that we had a submarine over here that was used in a floatplane, and then 2 additional submarines that aren't armed with floatplane. And then imagine we had another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here. What I might do then is try to set it up so that basically I could have a submarines basically follow the Kiributai, but at a rather extreme distance. Basically very large standoff distance if it's indeed possible. So what I'd like to do is, I don't know, we could try to use them as like a proximity fuse in a way. It'd be a very interesting idea. Because then what we could do is obviously have the Kiributai spot the targets, or have a submarine spot the targets. And obviously the Kiributai can attack what has been spotted for it. But the thing is, let's imagine, okay, let's say that this is like a Battle of the Coral Sea. So let's say there's like an American carrier fleet over here. The thing is, it's like I could potentially have the Kiributai stay at a sort of standoff range. Maybe just using its reconnaissance or having other reconnaissance assets in the area. Use that. And then what we can do is have the actual submarines move in here en masse. And wouldn't it be a waste of firepower? It's an interesting question. See, this is the thing here. It's like what we will see in the future is the USN basically copy and paste in destroyers. I could always try. I'm not going to use the entire submarine arm in this fashion, really. But what I'd like to do is use submarines in that sort of role. I think it could be quite an effective use. So, like, I'd never been looking at too many, just a couple, just to really work alongside the Kiributai. But I think it'd be very interesting because at the end of the day, it could be the great forced leveler in a way. Like, let's say, I don't know, let's say that there's an American carrier fleet, and let's say they have 3 carriers, for example. Okay. So, we do have longer ranged aircraft, okay. But you know what is better than a carrier-on-carrier engagement? It's not being hit at all. So what we could potentially do here, then, is benefit from the naval surge of our aircraft, then use these submarine picket forces to actually engage. And they're actually quite interesting. And you think about this, it's almost like this area here is like a no-go. Or at least there's a danger here for allied ships. And what I could do then is actually use that. Trying to, I don't know, something like this. Trying to surround Japan. Sorry, trying to surround the carriers to a degree. No, this is the thing here. It's like, I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about in the near future. I can understand the idea that, okay, submarines need to be used in this way. They need to be doing this. The thing is, there will be a point at which the Japanese submarine is very much a rare sight in allied waters to a degree. Of course, I can always keep on hunting down the allied tankers or allied cargo ships, which will be going on. But I don't think it's a waste of firepower. I think it's something that could be used to augment firepower. Because at the end of the day, if I don't have to expose my surface ships to attack, and if I'm able to actually use massed amount of submarines to support fleet action, it could be rather dangerous. I mean, for example, look at, oh god, what did they call it now? The US war games, the one where they had a war game for a theoretical invasion against Iran. I can't remember exactly when it was. But you look at the amount of surface assets were destroyed in that surface action. And I believe that was down due to kamikaze boats, miniature submarines, that sort of thing. We really need to fight here with, I believe, what is the term now? Asymmetric tactics. I think that's the term. Like, at the moment, I could win a one-on-one engagement. Well, I could win a straight-up engagement with the American Navy in terms of carrier strength. But that is going to rapidly elude us in the future. So I think things like this could be something to explore, because it's something where it's only a couple submarines. I do have quite a few of them. If I look after them well enough, I can retain a good few of them. But it could be rather intriguing. I'd be able to have a picket force out there, a good few hexes away from the Kidabutai. Obviously, they are going to be remaining semi-hidden as well, obviously operating their own float planes. So let's say, for example, the Kidabutai is here as it is. Okay, so it has float planes that can reach, I don't know, something like this distance. So let's say that we do have a float plane equipped submarine. Granted, there's only one of them, but that does add additional reconnaissance here as well. And then let's say there's one over here as well. I mean, to be honest, I could have like a couple of them just around, operating near the carriers in a general area, and they could act as a picket. That's really how I envision them. In some ways, they're, I don't know, how, I suppose they're like living mines in a way. It's something that we'll look at in the future, but I think it could be quite an effective use of them. Especially in areas like, let's take a look at the Coral Sea, okay. So the Coral Sea is a large area, isn't it? It looks that way, but it's really not. For example, there's coral reefs over here, there's coral reefs over here, coral, obviously you have your confined spaces between the land masses, confined spaces, you have the islands here. So what looks like really open and spacious area is really something like that. So let's say that you have the Kidabutai here, you have an American carrier force here, let's say you have the Imperial Japanese submarines operating alongside the fleet here as a fleet element. So aircraft, okay, they can't reach each other, okay, but that's fine. So let's say that the American carriers move here, we move here, and submarines move here. Now, range has decreased, let's assume that we actually spot the enemy target. These submarines could engage, while the Kidabutai could potentially move to a distance further off, trying to make use of the advantage that we do have in range. Whereas at the same time, the USN carriers, obviously they do have aircraft with smaller range, well lower range. So what I'm assuming here then, what I'm trying to play at here really, is almost like, I suppose it's almost like having him walk over hot coals in a way. I think that is a, okay. Yeah, so carriers here. Let's say that this is a area containing submarines. So let's say this is the American carrier force. What I'd like to do then is have the Kidabutai move backwards, well, move away from the enemy carrier force. Obviously maintaining range to use her aircraft, but being outside of range to receive return strikes ideally. So then ideally the American carrier force is going to be forced to follow up on our, well, yeah, up on our own carriers, and therefore drag them into this area here. It's strange, and I know it's one of these things where it's not all flashy, but it's something I'm going to explore later on in the war, because I think it could be something that could be used as a force equalizer, because we've all seen how dangerous submarines can be, and we know our submarines are very dangerous. I think they could work in a fleet support role. And especially as in the future, I do intend to have the Yamato class operate alongside the Kidabutai. So obviously the speed of the Kidabutai is going to be reduced there. So at least then we are starting to look at submarines that are capable of nearly matching that sort of speed. Whereas if we operate them at distance, that's not too bad. It'll be interesting. I know I spent a long time waffling on about that, and I probably explained it rather poorly. It is obviously it's obviously just an idea at the moment for the future. There are negatives, there's obviously positives. I think it's one of those where for the amount of submarines required to maybe have something that could work, it's not that many. I'd still be running the same sort of economic warfare. But I'm just thinking of the days when the Americans do obviously, well, far exceed us in ASW capabilities. And when we're seeing lots of escorts and lots of destroyers, maybe switching tactics and trying to equalize the playing field here. Japan did build quite a few submarines. She never built anywhere near enough surface ships. So we could try to make up for that by using submarines. I know what you mean. I often wonder why Germans in World War I didn't send all their subs near British bases when, the High Seas Fleet went to sea. Yeah, I mean, this is it. I think I'd have to find it. I'm pretty sure it's in the book I've been reading at the moment called War Plan Orange. I think originally the US did flirt with the idea of using submarines in a fleet role. But obviously the technology of the time. So it'd be something to take a look at. I think it'll be rather intriguing. Because at the end of the day, we are not going to be always the aggressor. There is going to come a point where basically we do not move beyond this sort of line. And we really limit the Kiributai to an area something like that, and obviously even smaller than that. So they will come to a time when the Kiributai is a defensive force, but not one on the front lines. One that would obviously be on the interior lines here. So it could be intriguing. Hello there, residents. Good to have you there. Yeah, you've just missed a whole waffling part there. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm like bloody some sort of like fairy magician or something like that. But I'd like to try something. I don't know if it's been tried before, but it would be intriguing. It'd be good to see if it actually produced results. Okay, so it does appear. Okay, so it's moving to the east. So it looks like they might be moving through here actually. So what I'm going to do then is rad my submarine here, I-157. And she's going to move to block that area. There we go. Yep, so, as far as it goes to where the American convoys are operating, I think they're operating maybe something like this. Kinda like that, perhaps. Definitely to Perth. So I'd like to bring down some long-range submarines down to this area, and obviously into this area here. Though I can obviously just use our own boats over here. By the way, how many CVs and CVLs will you get altogether? Try something Invasion of Alaska. We will be moving to the Illusions in the near future, actually. I'm going to be looking at the Illusions in March. I mean, this is it. We're only on the 19th of January. So I think sometimes it's rather strange, isn't it? Because it feels like a lot has happened, but then again, we are only in the first month of the war here. Which is crazy. Now, second month of the war, I suppose you could say. Right. Ships availability. Okay. So in total, obviously we have 6 here at the moment, fleet carriers, so 7, 8, 9, 10, well obviously not that one, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, in total of our fleet carriers. Obviously CVLs we have 2 at the moment, so 3, 4, 5, obviously I can convert these seaplane cruisers into light carriers, so maybe another 3 there. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plus the 2 that we already have. So, I don't know. We might be looking at something in the region like 20 to 30. Somewhere around that sort of area. Obviously, the US will have far many more than that. So, we need to look at these tactics. Clandestine. Not I think the word is asymmetric tactics. I don't know. If you guys have an idea of it, or potentially have an historical source where that idea was pursued, I'd love to see. So do actually put that in the comments. Obviously this is to you guys watching YouTube as well. That's right, you, Steve. There'll be somebody out there called Steve thinking, Jesus, he gets me. I get you, Steve. I'm the one who took your toast. Okay. So I'm building up the base over here at Bab al-Duab. I'm building up the actual port. What I'm looking towards doing then is obviously once this port has been built up, I'm not building up too terribly large, but what I'm doing is building up to a point where it's actually protected against submarine raids, which is very handy there. So for, I believe it's size 4 that we need to get it to. Now speaking of sizes actually, we did see that the airfield at Suva has been enlarged to a size 4. Now, I was worried that B-17s would be able to operate from this base now, but unfortunately, well fortunately for us, for B-17s to operate it is a size 5 airfield that is required for offensive missions. So we're quite lucky there. The good news as well, he's building up this airfield, which is awesome. Because at the end of the day, we don't really build airfields as such. I know we're building airfields at the moment, but we don't really build them. We'll allow the Americans to build them, and then we'll capture them, and use them against them. I don't have infinite amounts of supply, nor engineers to throw things like that. But it is intriguing. It does state, well, it does show that there's actually a fair amount of forces here on the island. See, what's intriguing as well is, I think I could actually land in one of these hexes over here, and then march onto the base. I mean, if I can do that, that would be very nice. I don't know if I can. There's no dot base like Lafoa, so I don't know if it could be done. But when it does come to this, we'll just have to go in hard. And pray for the best, really. But I'd like to secure Pago first, really isolate this base more so. Always good to have another base in the area to work from. But doing things like that would slow down operations, but then again it's always worthwhile to put in that investment there. Because then obviously I'd have Luganville, New Caledonia, we'd have Funafuti, and we'd have Savai and Pago. Then what I'd like to do is have Norfolk and Raoul Island down here, and then ideally we'd have something of a grip around the area. Not a very tight grip, but one enough to actually have float planes. Okay. What I'm going to do here then. Have you patrol this area here? Okay, you'll return to replenish. Okay, not a huge amount of fuel there. I don't know why your base is to cow. So I'm going to do then is have them base over here at Kotobaru. So what I'm going to do here then is look to actually base submarines on this side. I need to patrol around this area here. I've been reluctant to do it beforehand because I didn't have too much there in the way of information. But we can't carry on like that. We've got to get submarines onto this part. I've got to do that to really stop the flow of oil out of this area. Okay, they're heading back to rearm. Right, patrol this area. I need to lock it down. Okay. So for the most part, things are going quite nicely. Our forces have just arrived over here. So what I'm going to do then is everybody's going to remain in position here. Everybody. Now, I do have a core headquarters here, which is good. Obviously, that's going to be very nice to have there. I do have here another core headquarters. Where would the army headquarters be? Right, the Kwantong Army. Right, there we go, the Kwantong Army. They're going to begin planning for Changsha. There we go. Have them move down here to Fusan. We'll make use of them. Yep. So the assault value situation over here does worry me. But we have units that will be returning ASAP. Okay, so we'll have the bombardments taking place here then shortly, which is good news. I'm going to allow them to run reconnaissance in this area. I think if you don't set them a target, they'll just run it randomly. I'd like to just get an idea what's going on here. Probably some units here. But actually saying that, So you attach to the China area. What I'll do then... I'll move you up over here to Hankow and the interior. Right, so I've got a range of 6, which is within range of Changsha. What I'm going to look at here then, so Henyang is within range. I do have good detection here. Yeah, the way I'm going to take this situation over here is, the difficulty is this river line here. I'm going to work around that. Now, there's 150,000 Chinese over here at Changsha, which granted is a large force, but there's about 50,000 here. 43,000 there, 54,000 there. Let's take a look at the actual terrain here. Now, this is clear terrain. That's also clear terrain. Hot dog, is that actually clear terrain? Okay. That is actually awesome. The only issue is I'd have to cross a river to reach this, I do believe. But this is clear down here. So what I'm going to be doing then is the 38th Division is going to be marching on this location here. I do have this independent mixed brigade moving up to this position here. What I'm going to be looking towards doing is securing Nanning and securing this base here. From there, I'm going to continue the push up to the north. Now, I could move on to Quailin, possibly. But we can do that either later or in the future. Which is the same thing. But, I don't know. It's in rough terrain. And I don't think a single division really would do too well there. Well, what I'd like to do then is just continue to put the pressure on here. And really... I mean, to be honest, if I can take this base here and this base here, well, a lot of his troops, let's say a lot of his troops are in this area here, that's going to cause some issues. But in reality, the way I see the situation going is we're going to start this off with a bombardment. These forces are going to move over here. We know there's Chinese forces operating in this area over here. Taking this road is going to cut that off, and yeah, this area then is finally going to be severed from the Chinese logistical network. From that point, we have the 104th Division moving up over here. Now, the 104th Division could maybe actually move up instead of Quailin. Possibly. If I do that... No, I don't think that's worthwhile. What I want to do is move these divisions over here. Well, this division of force, I can't remember exactly how strong it is. But they're going to move up this way. The 104th is going to move up this way with its artillery. From that point on, we have a decent amount of force in this area. What I want to do then is I could attempt to move over to this position here. Flank the city. If possible. And then seize it. What I want to do is effectively lock down the forces he has in that area. Because in reality, I don't need a lot to take this area. I don't need a lot. I just need flexibility and I need the opportunity. If I lock down his forces over by Changsha, basically have the threat, have this order Damocles over his head that, like, if he moves a single unit, well then the Changsha area falls, which it will fall eventually, without doubt. But I'd like to see if I can leave this open here. I want to cut his lines here. Basically, break the front. Because then that's going to put him into a difficult situation here. Let's say we take this base, which will take some time, but it can be taken. We take that. This rail line is severed, so he's obviously going to have to march back here. Could obviously move via rail here, but he's going to have to march either way, unless he takes the space back. So then, we could be in a position here where we're trying to race up towards this position here, march as fast as we possibly can. Now, his forces over here that are in Changsha and the other cities, okay, they're either going to have to stand and fight here, or more than likely they're going to try to retreat here to cut us off. The good news is, the river is here. I do have room to move through this land bridge, I suppose we can call it. So he can't prevent me from moving here. He can make it hard, but he can't stop it. So then, if that happens, I'm able to take this area. And what I could do then is obviously take these bases here. But I could then begin to push on towards Juking from another direction. In reality, I want these forces over here. I want them to be less than useless. I want them to be a weight around the Chinese forces' neck here in China. Because at the end of the day, these forces are going to drain logistics. They're going to drain supply from the Chinese logistical pool. And if you can't use this force, it might as well not even exist, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, we are fighting the war in China here now. This doesn't matter. This is taking time, but it will inevitably fall. But this area here doesn't mean anything. I'm not going to be pushing into that area. It is not worth it. This is where the war is to be won. This is where the war is to be stalemated. Okay. Now, I've been doing a lot of waffling here. I'm just trying to go through all the motions, to be honest. It has been a little bit of time since the last turn, so I'm just trying to make sure that I've not forgotten everything. Yeah, they're marching south. These men are marching south now to Johorbaru. Unfortunately, I won't be able to trap them, but that is no issue. Right, these forces are training here. They're currently on escort over Johorbaru. Did I set up a ground attack there? What's the range? 13, okay. I believe that's just out of the range where Versailles is. Obviously, once Kuantan is taken, it will be within my range once again, which is going to be very nice. So I need to work that pretty quickly. I do have engineers now that are going to be unloaded in Kuantan, so I'll be able to repair the base, make it usable. These men are being picked up over here. We don't have anything on the American coastline here for the time being. That's okay. Ribal's going to fall next turn. Yeah, deliberate here. There's not a huge amount of supply there. I may have to bear that one in mind, actually. But I think they'll be able to take it regardless, to be honest. I mean, that's a lot of assault value there. The 56 is going to be pretty strong. I think ultimately what I'm going to do here, then, is have the 48th tasked with Borneo. We could have the 4th Division tasked with Mindanao Celebes. And then potentially move south. And will you take over the rest of New Britain around Ribal? I mean, this base over here, it's jungle rough. It's pretty awful terrain. I don't think there's roads here. There's no roads here. So what we'll do is we'll run reconnaissance over the base at Gazmata, and also we'll take a look if there is indeed anything there. But it'll be a case of if we're going to take the base, we'll take it via the sea. No way I'm going to march there. There's a few islands that we do need to take, like Manus Islands. That'd be nice. Just to secure the north of the Bismarck Sea. Indeed. Things are moving on nicely, especially in China. Let's make sure our forces are actually, so they're at target, which is good. That means that they're bang on. This force over here then, okay. So I've got 13th Division there. 8th Independent Engineer Regiment. 3rd Division there. What I'm going to do here then, so you're marching to Changsha at the moment. I'm going to have you move up over this way. Set all to follow. It's going to take them some time to arrive in that area. But I will be taking the 1st Independent Mixed Brigade. Now, I may have another idea for how I wish to use them. I don't know. No, they're going to march there as well. So we'll take a look at this then. So we'll have the 13th Division. We'll have the 3rd Division. We'll have the 104th Division. So that now becomes a 3-division force alongside some engineers, artillery, armor. Which is very good. I mean, this is it. I mean, this will fall here. What I want to be in is in a position to actually force crossings over this part of the river then if we need to. But I think his line will break over here. It will not immediately break because he's not going to react to it too quickly, but it will be quite a blow to him. But what I need to do then is take this base, take these bases here and connect this route line. Like if I can take Changsha, Henyang and then these bases here, oh my god, my mobility just dramatically increases. So, this is the area I really want. Obviously be able to move around. Like, I could obviously move then to Kukong as well. So I gain a lot of mobility. Which is obviously very nice. So we're going to keep up the bombardment. We're going to increase that bombardment. Now, the baby Kitaputai. They're heading towards Takao. You're heading towards Takao as well. You're heading over there to Borneo. Okay, so you need to finish unloading that so we can load it up again, because for some reason I decided it was going to unload. Let's go ahead and meet that task force there. It's never too much of an escort, is there? You're heading to Hong Kong. Yeah, there you go. Maya. There goes some chaser escort. Okay. I'm gonna have that sent to Kuantan, actually. That'll make him, yeah. The AA and the Arturos will have that moved elsewhere, but the engineers could be welcomed over there at Kuantan. Also, then we can shift them elsewhere, but I do need more engineers this way. I mean, to be honest, that couldn't even be used in the Pacific. Maybe it should be used in the Pacific. And I was considering where do we have him sent to the Curals? So that could be quite an effective base there. I don't know, actually. It's an interesting one. I think for the time being, then, we'll have them make their way towards Truck, and then we can figure out where exactly we need them in the near future. We'll have them head out that way. We'll meet up with that sub-chaser escort, which is fine. How many political points do I have here? 588. I don't think I'm near... Well, yeah, I'm not there yet for the guards. 772 there. Not far. Not far. Yeah, they're going to be waiting there. Okay. These men are going to be set to rest. Still waiting for the rest of these forces to move out of here. Obviously, besides these men who are to rest. I'm going to say this one can remain in position here to actually hold. Third Army Corps headquarters is going to move out down here. Sorry, yeah, the Third Army. The 5th Armored Car. Have them move down there as well. Can make use of them. Okay. I think I'm going to send some additional aviation support to Shanghai. So 2 units to Shanghai. And then 2 to Wuchang. To be moved over to Changsha later. I consider the heavy losses at Vow. How are units there reinforced by game mechanics? Replacements arrive. It takes a good few days. How long does it take for the USSR to activate? I think it's like a percentage chance per turn. And it's unfortunate that we are below the limit here at the moment. That should be rectified next turn. Let's see. But yes, for that question, I'll have to take a look at that. But I believe it's to do with supply and rest and... yeah. I'd have to take a look at it to give you a proper answer, really. Trying to see if I can find it now. Okay. Right. If the total is not met, there will be a small chance each day that the Soviets will activate. So, oof. I mean, we'll have to get our men back into Manchuria ASAP. Yeah, I'll have to do some more research into how it actually works with, replacements being sent to the front. I'm pretty sure it's to do with supply. But we'll have to see. Okay. I do think with that we are done with the turn. I've been sort of like just mulling over it for the most part. It doesn't actually say small chance. That is all it says in the manual, just small chance. I wish I had a number to be scared of. Oh dear. I think things are running along nicely. Set this to a bombardment. And there we go. Bombardment's going to continue here. We'll have the Baby Kidabutai head out to Takao. I can have it rearm, link up with other assets over here, and then we'll begin the process of the operations into the south over this way. Our men are moving south down here to Jobaru. What I'm going to do here is, let's see. I'm going to leave a small combat air patrol. I'd sent out 3 regiments, and it's one of these things when I go on with these long streams. Like, I don't know, it's one of these things, like, after a few hours you just tend to miss things. I didn't realize it was taking as much. I thought I had more of a, yeah, leeway than I did. I think these fighters need to be moved elsewhere, to be honest. Yeah, we are out of range. Okay. I think what I'm going to do then is have the fighters do a little bit of combat air patrol, have 20% of them rest, then have the rest on training. So I don't really have use for them at the moment. In fact, I think I'm going to rest my aircraft. Yeah, a little bit of combat air patrol over here, and we'll rest our aircraft. Okay. I mean, there could be a lot more to do. I just think it's one of these things where I need to get familiar with the game again. It feels like there's been quite a long pause. So it's like having to just, like, yeah, get our head back in the game. I think once we get into the next turn, see what happens before, then yeah, everything's going to be a lot easier. Another question, considering as Japan you can modify aircraft production. Of course, the pool of aircraft is used as reinforcement for resistance squadron and one of new squadrons. They come when they historically should, but what if you favour one type of craft over another? Will the game generate a new historical squadron? How it works is basically if you have a squadron that is set to arrive on a date. Like, for example, let's see here then. Group reinforcement schedule. Like, this will arrive as an A5M4, and that is that. This will arrive as D3A1, and that is that. It will arrive at this base, it will arrive at this time, and that is that. Now, as far as it goes with squadrons, like when I'm producing aircraft, I'm basically taking these squadrons and having them upgrade to use a different sort of aircraft. I wish you could create new squadrons, but you can't, as such. what you can do is enlarge, like for example, we'll be doing this with float planes in the near future, is like basically making a very, very large squadron and then split it up into smaller smaller forces, but we can't make new squadrons, unfortunately. At least we'll have new ones that arrive that we can actually use, but I can't make them, unfortunately. But I'm going to say here that we are done with the turn. I can't say there's really... yeah, there's not too much in the way of pressing matters. This is going to continue. These men are going to pull out. They've loaded a decent enough amount of supply. Should be okay. Once we do clear the Port of Comac of mines, I can move in some additional supply here. So that works for me. Luganville's going to continue to build up its airfield here. 48%, we need around about 2. And then more. Obviously, it'd be nice, but I think 2 would be alright. Tower's going to continue to build. As we can change the plane type the squadron uses and cut the squadron up and enlarge it. Yeah, pretty much. It's about the best you're going to get, really. Oh dear. Okay, and yeah, I think we could call it here. I think that is everything that we can get done. I don't think I've missed anything. It's one of those turns where we've just been more so getting familiar with it again. But things are underway. Then we're moving over here to Xushan. This will take some time, but it'll be alright. We'll be able to move this second form Mosin infantry regiment should be unloaded to Pescadores next turn. And we can begin then to put together the 48th Division. The 4th will be moving out tomorrow. So yeah, we'll be able to take Mindanao within the next few days. And this is it, he's pulled his forces over here to Cagayan, which is difficult. But we'll crack them. We'll be searching here for bases. I'm going to have some APDs, like I've got 2 APDs I'm moving down here to Davao. What I'll be looking for then is actually targets of opportunity and basically airfields to make use of. And then we can begin to... And this is it, the actual A6M2 Zeros, their purpose in Malaya is done for the time being. Indeed. Yeah, they're already on rest, I do believe, actually. But it's a good point, therefore. I do appreciate it. Okay. Yep. I think it's going to be next time where we'll have things going off, so at least we know what we're doing again. Feels like it's been a long time. I feel like I've forgotten some things, perhaps. There's the other submarines I was looking for, so that's good. Okay, so strike against Australia the next few days. Hype. So I'd like to say a big thank you here, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. I do hope that you guys have indeed enjoyed this. So, let's see. That's a double agent. 00 Mark 14. That sounds alright. There we go, yeah. I feel like I don't know. I think it's one of these. It just feels like it's been a long pause since the last turn. So I feel like I might have forgot something, but I feel like we'll get back into things as we get the game flowing again. Industry's going well. We've moved additional escorts to the north. It's going to take some time for them to arrive. Aircraft are moving the headquarters up that way. I'll be moving the engineers from Korea shortly. Obviously, we'll have those forces head back into Manchukuo soon. We've got the Battle of Changsha to begin shortly. The men are moving to Bataan. The men are moving to Numea. The men are going to be moving from Naga over to the island of Mindanao the next few days. The men from the Pescadores, well, the island of Pescadores, the 48th, will be merging and heading down to Borneo. The men in Malaya are marching to Johor Bahru. The Johor Bahru force there will more than likely make it to Singapore. From there, we'll take Johor Bahru and begin to prepare for the Battle of Singapore, really. Yeah, I mean, that would kind of suck. I think it'd be one of those where we'd probably just have to make a gentleman's agreement. Because that would, yeah, I think we should be okay. Probably. We'll see. It's a small chance, but we'll see. If it did activate this turn, I would have, yeah, that'd have been, yeah. That'd have been that. But I think we'll be alright. As I'm going to say here, a big thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I do really appreciate the support that you guys do show. I love the fact that you guys do turn up. It's not the most exciting game to watch, I can imagine, because you're mostly having to deal with me, like, rambling about stupid nonsense for a few hours. But I do appreciate it all the same. And if you do appreciate my content, I would really... It'd make a very big difference if you guys did become a patron. It does definitely help me out a great deal. So I'd like to say a big thank you here. And of course, if you are not familiar with my content, you can find myself over on YouTube at XTRG and Twitch at XTRG as well. Until next time, goodbye and Godspeed, Tenno, Heika, Banzai.